This is WT for TST, and this evening I'm honoured to be joined by Mr. Harlem Eubank. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, mate. You're looking well. Training today?
Yeah, just finished training today. Good week. Just finished with a sharpener today, and a couple runs over the weekend. But other than that, yeah, solid week.
Good stuff, mate. Right, I want to start these, or normally I should say, I start these by getting you to take us right back to the start, if you don't mind. So for you, what it's like growing up in Brighton, your childhood, etc., and then probably work through to how you got into boxing. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure, yeah, for sure.
Hit us.
So
Not
yeah,
literally.
Go for it. You're a safe distance.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. No, Brighton's a cool place to grow up. It's kind of got like that balance of kind of city life, that's that fast kind of London paced life with the kind of slower, more relaxed country, and it's cool growing up in Brighton. When I look back, I think kind of it was it's a good place for kids, and I got into karate early on in my childhood. I'm a big fan of martial arts films, and I used to study them and just watch them instead of cartoons. Like, I can't really remember watching cartoons as a kid.
Well, like Karate Kid.
Yeah, like Karate Kid, the Van Damme movies, more so. Like, my favorite movie at the time was when I first got into karate at age 7. I used to watch No Retreat, No Surrender non-stop. I don't know if you're aware of that movie, but it's it's just Van Damme, and it's always them stories where a guy stumbles across a dojo, and from that point on, the story plays out. He hits adversity at the start and overcomes it, flourishes at the end. And them kind of movies, I can watch them all day long. And they were the kind of films that got me into combat. And it happened the same way for me in terms of stumbling across a dojo. And 4 years in, I was training 5 days a week, and I just loved that kind of intensity. Like, I wasn't really interested in anything else other than the just that kind of life where you're in a dojo and you're kind of just practicing and working things every day to reach the pinnacle.
So was it like that? Was it like that bit where you walk along the street, you hear a noise, the door opens, and you
exactly.
That really?
Exactly that. Exactly, because I'm watching these films at age 7, and I'm thinking, at that age, you don't really know, the process. Like, you wouldn't really know, all right, how do I get into that? So it just happened randomly. One day walking on the street, there's like a little leisure center where I used to live, and you could hear these like loud karate kind of noises, and started to walk closer, went in, asked about it, and from there on I was in. And like I say, the intensity that I kind of went at it with, once I was there, I was just I wanted to be there as much as possible. So as much as my mum could get me there, that's where I wanted to be. And ended up winning 2 British titles, and I think a few English ones along the way in the Kumite, which is the fighting, because obviously you've got the like more movement patterns, which they call like kata. So but I was always kind of more focused on the sport side of it, and the fighting side, rather than like the gradings and all of that. But
You won titles.
Say again?
You won titles, did you say? Yeah.
Yeah, I won 2 British titles at age 10 and 11, and that's kind of, at that stage, you had to be a little bit older to enter like the world championships. So it was kind of a stage where I'd got to my black belt, I'd got the championships, and then it would have kind of been 2 years of nothing before I could go on to the next stage. And by that point, I was ready for something new. And that's the kind of age, 11, 12, everyone, all your mates are starting to play football and these things, and that's what I got into from there. And from there, I kind of hit football with the same intensity that I'd, previously been introduced with, in combat.
Good stuff, mate. So take you back just a little bit to the karate stuff. So you won your two English titles, you said, yeah?
British.
So
they have British Championships, Crystal Palace, and it's again, it's like one of them competitions that you got people from all around the world. It's and you got like there was a guy called Master Suzuki, and he's kind of like he's kind of like the real life Miyagi, to be honest. Like he's like, well, he's silent, and rarely speaks. And he actually called me over after the British Championships, after the second one that I won. My coach comes up and is like, Master Suzuki wants to speak to you, and he didn't speak to anyone. So he called me over and was kind of like, I want you to enter the World Championships. And at that time, like I said, it was 2 years. He obviously didn't realize, my age or the age restrictions in place. But yeah, it was kind of like that was another movie moment. There was a lot of moments that kind of reflected the kind of the films that brought me into combat, and I had a few moments that reflected that as well.
So the next movie moment I'm going to talk to you about, or I want you to talk to us about, is what you just told me off camera before. And it's probably a movie lesson that's quite harsh. So after your second win, your mum takes you to a newsagent. Tell the story.
Yeah. So, so I think we're heading to kind of like get some food after the fight. The fight was all the way up in. I think it was actually I think it was in Sheffield. So obviously long drive back down, going down to the newsagent, having to bump into Uncle Chris, and my mum was obviously excited after the win, and kind of, how mums, a lot of the time they want to tell all your successes. So she was kind of like speaking to Chris and wanted to let him know that I just won 2 British Championships. And he was basically pretty kind of like straight faced and just said I won 19 World Championship wins. So that kind of, for me, I know my mum was kind of like thrown back a little bit, but I understood where he was coming from. I understood what he was trying to implement in me at that age. And I think I was just pretty aware at that age of where he's coming from, and what he's very smart, so what he's trying to kind of implement in me, so I think my mom was thrown back, but I kind of understood. It was kind of I was young at the time, but it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I had an awareness back then of what he was trying to do.
It's good you had an awareness, mate. I'd be like, who won? I don't care about yours. I've just won 2. Anyway, mate, I just thought it was worth sharing because it was. I thought it was quite a funny story. So, so you're going to football, yeah? With all your mates and stuff. So where did the boxing come in then?
So basically, I started playing football with a local team with Dean 2000, and within my first year playing for them, there was obviously like scouts that watched the games, and they were kind of like the Brighton development team was kind of interested in giving me a trial after so I'd done the pre-season, and probably like maybe halfway through the year of playing. Obviously it's my first year of football, but again, like, I approached it how I did with the combat. I think that kind of early on planted a seed for me, and that if I want to do something, I want to do it to the best of my ability. And I approached football with that same kind of mentality. And because it was my first year of football, they just said, the Brighton Hove Albion just said, come and train with us for the year, rather than they usually do a 6-week trial process.
Yeah.
So usually they do the 6-week trial, and then at the end of the trial, they'll let you know if they want to give you a contract or not. So for me, they just said, look, come and train with us for the year, and we'll see how you get on. And I think that was actually my favorite year of football, because I was playing for both my team, that I started with, and Brighton. So I was getting, I was training both sides. And yeah, from there, end of the year, they gave me a 4-year contract.
Wow.
And then I was there till 16. When I was before my last year of playing with them, I started training at a local boxing gym, and had 2 fights. But on the second, or on what was meant to be the third one, I went up there, travelled up there, obviously told the football lads, I'm fighting this weekend or whatever. And we had a game the next day. I think it was against Crystal Palace or someone. But we was in the changing rooms, and obviously all the boys were like, how'd you get on? Obviously they loved the idea of, fighting. And they're like, oh, like all excited to kind of find out the result and whatever. And I said, the kid ended up actually pulling out when I got up there. So obviously I said, it didn't happen in the end. But then my coach pulled me aside and was like, yeah, you can't box and play for us at the same time, because
box on the Friday night, play on the Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way I would have had it. But yeah, he was like, you can't, if we need to select you and you're injured, then it's going to be a problem. So that's when I just had to leave kind of boxing and focus on the football. And yeah, 2 or 3 years down the line, so I played for Brighton for another year and a half after that. So I got let go from them at 16, went on to play for Lewis youth team and like a college academy. And after 2 years playing for them, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of, I'd lost the spark for football. So that's the point when I was like, I'm gonna take boxing back up. And since then I've ran with it. I understood. I picked it back up at 18, and I understood at that point, if I'm gonna do this, if I'm serious about this, I've got to pick it up quickly. I've got to be on some type of crash course to achieve, what I want to achieve. Because I didn't want to do it just to do it. I wanted to apply, and a certain amount of focus and dedication to succeed in the sport. And I kind of understood, if I'm going to do it, I need to go about it intensely, and train as much as I can, and get in with experienced fighters, and just learn. So I just kind of like entered every competition I could. Even being inexperienced, I would just jump in and get the most competitive fights possible.
So is that when you went to see Adam Booth then?
No. This is I'm talking about the amateurs. I'm talking about the amateurs here. So I'm talking about I box for Brighton Hove ABC, which is my local club, and just amateur competitions.
Yeah.
Like you've got like under 10 ABAs. I entered that on no fights. You know what I mean? So there's people obviously entering on 10 fights, or 6, 7 fights.
So you're playing catch up straight away.
Yeah. So I entered that being my first fight back in. Do you know what I mean? So just because I wanted the experience, I needed to learn quickly. So you can't afford to just, I'll fight here, I'll fight there. You just got to jump in and learn. And that was my kind of process all the way through. Yeah, obviously after turning professional, I was sparring up at Adam Booth's gym. A few of his fighters, just when about maybe a year before I turned professional a year before I turned professional. So I was up and down from there, sparring a few of his boys, and you know, had a good relationship with him, and yeah, that progressed from there. And yeah, I mean, I've continued to be in the gym every day since, and just, you know, progressing my craft day by day.
And some good guys in that gym, isn't there? What's the gym
Very
vibe
good,
like?
very good. Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. You know, it's a gym family up there, and you know, everyone wants you to do well, and everyone wants to work hard, and that's the best environment you can be in. You know.
So is it like the only way I could probably describe like a real gym unity is like, you know, when you're in the footy team, right, and you're
Yeah.
locked in. Is that how that gym is for you? Yeah.
No, it's different. It's different. Because football is like a football is a team sport, so it's different in a sense that in boxing, you know, you work together, but when you go in there, you're on your own. Um, and so you can only push yourself. You know, in football, you can hide, you can, you know, you can get off lightly, you can have a bad game, and it can be overlooked. You know what I mean? So it's completely different to football, and like the camaraderie in football. It's more serious. There's more on the line. Um, and yeah, someone's coming to take your head off. So, you know, you've got to be. It's a completely different mindset, you know. But it's more of a it's definitely more intimate than football. Football is very kind of like, you know, I would say it's more kind of like, it's more of a social. You know, football's more of like a social. You know, some people might go out for a drink after all this stuff. That's not boxing. Boxing's very different to that, and combat is in general. You know, because you have to be serious, and if you're not serious, it will show.
But are the guys in the gym, so the guys that you're sparring with, training with, do they not
Yeah,
become mates?
yeah, of course, yeah. But yeah, definitely, they become, you know, good friends, and you yeah, I think it's what I was saying is I think it's more so than football, because football is like a social, it's like a group thing, whereas boxing, it's like, you know, you're with these people through, you know, some of the hardest um like some of the hardest experiences and hardest moments, you know. So I think that's what I was saying. I think it's more so than football, because football is like a social thing. You know, you go here, you change teams, you do this. Yeah, boxing is different.
So 10-0, yeah.
Yeah,
Your last fight, you provided a bit of a statement, I would say. 8-round knockout of Martin. I can never say this guy's name. Martin Mado, yeah. You say
McDonald.
that? Yeah, I'm not really sure. Statement though,
Thank you.
and then what's next?
More statements.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking to do. I want to do my talking in the ring. But yeah, I'm looking to, you know, be fighting bigger and better opposition, and yeah, just display what I've been working on, and that I think that will shine through. Um, Last opponent, you know, was a kind of a tricky southpaw, so I don't think I got to show necessarily everything that I've developed so far. But I think in the next fight you'll see more of that. But yeah, I'm just waiting for confirmation. I'm thinking one fight before the end of the year, and then yeah, set up nicely for 2021 to keep developing and keep growing, and yeah, and moving through bigger and better fights. But I'm just looking forward to getting this one kind of before the end of the year. So I'm fully focused on that at the minute.
So I heard a name for the beginning of 2021. Don't know how true it is. I'm sure you're going to tell me it's not anyway. Masha Dodd.
Huh?
No?
I've never heard of it. No, I've never. That's the first
No?
time I've heard that. Yeah.
Right, okay. You fancy that?
Yeah, I haven't seen much of it, to be honest. But
No.
listen, I'll fight anybody.
Listen, he's just a little bit higher than you in the ranking, so it makes sense
cool.
to move that way up, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's the way I want to be moving, you know.
Yeah, of course, mate, of course. And then I guess one of the other things that comes up a lot for you, and I guess I'll call it elephant in the room, is your surname. So because you've got that, do you find that gives you opportunities, more opportunities? Or do you find it actually brings you more pressure?
It definitely brings more pressure. I think, you know, that's been a good thing for me. At some stages it's harder to deal with. At some stages, you know, it's easier. And but it, you know, it brings more, you know, pressure can be a good thing, you know. It's bringing more eyes, more conversations, about you, whether good or bad. But you've just got to use it to drive you forward in a positive light, and you can't let it affect your performance. You know, you've just got to embrace it, and I think people are gonna, you know, as soon as you know they're aware of your name, you're going to be compared to obviously all the achievements that, you know, our family's achieved. So it's obviously all the great achievements. It's going to take me time. Like, if I want to achieve them things, it's going to take time. But a lot of the time, you know, them things are, you know, people want to see that straight away. But I think I'm starting to develop my skills now. I've done it the organic way, and I think that will stand me in good stead for the process I'm embarking on.
Are you close with either junior or senior, or do you see a lot?
Yeah, I speak to them. Juniors in America right now, you know, but I speak to them both here and there, and they're always there to give me advice. So yeah,
it's probably invaluable, that advice, to be fair.
Exactly.
Right, that's us, mate. Just I normally finish these with a couple of questions from the followers, so I've got a couple here for you. Normally, to warn you, some of them are really weird. Yours are all right, to be fair. Okay. So we've covered one of them anyway, so I'll leave the football question out. Des wants to know, which three boxers, legend or current, do you aspire to be like?
Sugar Ray Leonard. For me, it's always boxers that are kind of like explosive, boxers that excite you when you watch them, which is usually, you know, explosive speed and like crazy movement. So I would say Sugar Ray Leonard, Meldrick Taylor, and there's obviously more than three.
Go on, break it down.
No, there's you know, there's so many. But yeah, I'd go Sugar Ray Leonard, Meldrick Taylor, and Roberto Duran.
Yeah, yeah, get that. Good one. Al wants to know, when you're not training, what's your favourite thing to do? You can't say movies. You can't say fighting movies, because we've had that already. So what else do you
I don't know, really. Just, you know, relax, you know. Things people do when, you know, things most people do when they relax. I like to, you know, go down the beach, get in the sea, you know, loads of activity, outdoor activities. You know, there's so much to do. You know, it's not like one thing I'll do all the time, but just get outdoors and enjoy life, mate.
Good stuff. Last one. Frank wants to know, Usyk or Chisora?
I think, you know, I think Chisora will have to pull it out of the bag to beat Usyk. I think Usyk, he's a technician. He's, you know, one of the best in the world. He's won the Super Series. So I think it's there for Chisora. You know, Chisora's going to make the statement there, I think.
You think he'll do it then?
No, I said Chisora has to make the statement. So I think, you know,
yeah.
So I think, you know, Usyk I think it's there for Usyk to win if he follows the correct, game plan. And I think Chisora's got his work cut out, but at that weight it does just take one punch, and Chisora's has proved that he can pull that out at points during his career.
Right. Thank you very much, mate. That's us. Unless you've got anything to add.
All good, bro. All good.
Thank you for your time.
Well,
Appreciate you joining us this evening.
good stuff, man. Yeah, quality.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
Spot on, mate.